Hello and welcome everybody to Get Good NA. Our beginners final is going to be taking place right here, right now. We have Ignited Sparx versus Compass Gold for your casting entertainment. Once again, it's going to be Sir Waltham and Ocean. Ocean here, we're looking at these teams. We're looking at them in the finals. How are we feeling about them?
I mean, I'm just super excited. We are here for the beginners finals, and the super exciting thing about beginners finals in particular is the goal of this tournament is to get good. That's the name of the tournament, of course. And these beginner lower elo players have been improving the entire season, and they've got a chance to prove themselves on a bigger stage in a big finals matchup. And it's super exciting to bring those stories across to the viewers of how hard these players have been working to improve across the season and, well, get good at the video game.
Now, we'll see if, in fact, one team will walk away as the most gotten good. But, before we go into every map, we're going to be heading into Lijiang Tower. We have a lot of implications as to what that means here. But looking forward, I love looking at the stats. It looks like, as far as stats go, Ignited has been on a pretty clean run throughout the beginner division.
Yeah.
I think we might be seeing a strong force from them.
Yeah, Ignited was a team I actually casted last week, and they looked super good. Christ Glory in particular was really, really strong on Fora, and Liz again was not a slouchy DPS partner at all, was able to play those hit scans and take away those hit scan jewels on to the Fora, so was able to nullify any sort of hit scan impact that the opposition was able to have. And this team, I said last week, I would be surprised if anyone could take a map off them in the beginner tier, so we'll see if they can prove me right again in the grand finals. This is the stage for both of these teams as we head into Lijiang Night Market.
Yeah, just to give you a quick cap of those players, Lazy Caden and Christ Glory are going to be on that DPS, MI Blizzard and Queen Fluffy on those tanks, Rennie Pooh and Jed Wards 15 for the support lineup of Ignited Sparx, and similarly for Compass Gold, Nuclear and Nautic, DPS, Joshua and Mundangerous, nice name, they're going to be on the tank lineup, and Canna Media TV and under cursive Steve is going to be the support lineup for Compass Gold.
So we're going to see a little bit more of an aggressive composition from Compass Gold, and we're going to see that controlling space, symmetric TP composition from the side of Ignited Sparx.
Yeah, and immediately they're getting on to point. That far going to be chipping away at the side of Compass Gold, making it pretty dangerous to get towards that point or expose yourself to that Farah Christ Glory. Really laying in that damage. As we can see, they're already almost halfway to a rocket barrage. Nuclear going to have to try to mitigate them with this pass, but it doesn't seem like right out the gate they can find that value. Far Concussive Blast kind of come through to displace. Doesn't quite seem to find a whole lot, but nobody is dealing with Christ Glory in this back line. And with that, they're able to just deal in that damage, making for the tanks quick work to clean up on the rest of the team. Ignited Sparx looks good for this fight as soon as the cleanup comes in onto Mundangerous.
Yeah, so what Christ Glory is incredible at for is understanding when to use the space that he is given by his team. And actually this time he wasn't really given the space by his team. It was actually the side of Compass Gold just diving up the outside space of the Fora, walking around the outside, which gives a lot of different sidelines to that Fora, and you can see already a lot of damage dealt and that barrage is online.
Yeah, we'll see if Christ Glory can set up for it. Might be able to catch the team of Compass Gold out, catch them a little bit distracted perhaps. They're going to be taking a high ground rotation. Not quite sure about this. It looks like they're going to try to teleport a little bit closer to point, take it a little bit more forward towards that courtyard. But the DPS now coming out from Compass Gold seem completely distracted by Christ Glory, allowing their front line to be very vulnerable here, especially as the Symmetra damage comes through, the wall comes up, and the cleanup is there for Ignited Sparx.
So this time around, usually it's the tanks to create space for the DPS and just let them do their plays, set up their plays, give them the resource. But this time, the DPS on the opposition side were distracted by the Fora, and additionally the Symmetra wall from Lazy Kid, that meant that there was no pressure at all on Blizzard when they went for that Earth Shatter, which means that it's a free Earth Shatter and a free lot of kills for the side of Ignited Sparx.
Yeah, we're going to see if they can build it up once again. The sound barrier going to be coming out under Curve Steve. Going to be trying to come in there, but the nano boost onto MI Blizzard helps them punch through that sound barrier. Nobody's safe. Ignited Spark continues to be dominant throughout this fight.
Dominant. dominant round from Ignited Sparx. That's the way you want to start off a final. Start off a final with intent. Christ Glory, they're not even they didn't even allow Compass Gold to walk around the point. They were controlling so much space on that far, and they were allowed to do so via the composition they were running and the resources they were getting. And when they needed to switch up the win condition to their round hunter after their forward was kind of getting counteracted by the double hit scan composition, they did so accordingly. They used their DPS to force the other DPS to look at different sightlines, look at different angles, and then Blizzard was able to do whatever they wanted on that Reinhardt. So, fantastic fight planning and realizing what your win condition is and who your win condition is from an Ignited Sparx.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be looking to head into guards. If you thought you saw some intense Pharah play coming out early, you can almost certainly expect it here. Christ Glory taking to the skies once again, that high flyer trying to come in and get some early damage on their opposing hit scans. Kept alive very comfortably with Rinnifu. Goes for the concussive blast, doesn't find it, but undercover Steve makes the trade. Support for support, however. The positioning now not going to be there for the side of Compass Gold, but it's not going to matter too much as they just dive straight onto point. Rinnifu does get taken down. That Mercy not going to be able to keep her Pharah alive as much, but it doesn't look like Christ Glory really cares that much. That damage starts to come through, but Christ Glory not able to contest all by themselves. Going to have to try to make a quick evac.
Yeah, what again Christ Glory is showing here is a tremendous amount of discipline. They know when they need to back off, they know when they play super aggressive, they know when they have that space. Now that the damage base looking to get a little bit of damage on the Compass Gold, but they use this dive composition well to nullify the space that Pharah has.
Yeah, we will see Nautic taken down rather early, and Mundangerous throwing himself away, gets hit by that accretion. A little bit of a nap onto Joshua ensures that Rinnifu can get that resurrect coming through, and with that it means more manpower on the point for Ignited Sparx. They do have to deal with this wrecking ball, but a pin, they'll make short order of it, and with it, Nautic barely able to walk away, but still able.
So what the tanks on the side of Compass Gold did in the first fight was excellent. They were able to control that outside space, which means their DPS, their hit scans have enough space that they can disrupt that far and at least force them into positions that the far is uncomfortable. However, in that second fight, they just kind of cowered away and give up that space, and then Christ Glory was able to use that to full advantage, getting the kills with that Pharah and make it really difficult for the hit scans on the side of Compass Gold to even do anything.
Yeah, the early kill onto the Wrecking Ball ensures that Ignited Spark are going to have their feet planted a little bit more firmly. Nautic going down as well, certainly not going to be helping them. A bank of ults for Ignited Spark. They have a lot in their pocketbooks for if anything goes wrong, but it looks like this fight's just going buttery smooth for them. They've got a few members of the Compass Gold team cordoned off here in this small room. That's not a place they want to be in.
Yeah, it definitely isn't against the Pharah. However, Christ Glory, again, showing that discipline on the Pharah, making sure that they stay back, make sure that they play safe because they are against double hit scan, and if he gets caught with his trousers down, he's going to die really fast.
Yeah, Christ relocating to really get right up into that choke, making it really tempting for the team to just walk through, then get Rocket Barrage right on. Christ Glory seems to catch out Nautic going on a little bit of a flank here, but the Nano Boost tries to come in. Jedward's going to be counter-nanoing MI Blizzard into that, and right now the kill's going back and forth, but it looks like this might be one of Compass Gold's best opportunities here. The sleep tries to go in, doesn't quite land, and with that, Ignited Spark have managed to hold here. They do just have to get a little bit of cleanup, but they're fine with that fight taking a little bit longer.
So the reason Christ Glory was able to catch Nautic on that flank is because of a tremendous bit of scouting from Queen Fluffy. Obviously, Christ Glory can't do that scouting in the air, when they're flying around because they're against that double hit scan composition and they're just going to get destroyed. However, Queen Fluffy does a great amount of scouting, and then Christ Glory is able to take that duel so much more effectively.
Yeah, they certainly are. The sound barrier coming in from undercover Steve, just trying to make this last push count. However, Christ Glory has had that Rocket Barrage in pocket, gonna finally be using it. Takes down one, not able to burn down those massive health pools of the tanks, looking to buy out that time. Mundangerous trying their best to knock people around, but it's not gonna last for long as eventually they come out of that primal form, get burned down, and now it is all just cleanup for Ignited Spark. Overtime is going to burn down, and with that, a 2-0 for Li Xiong in favor of Ignited.
Dominant statement being put out by the Ignited Spark team. And I paused there because I'm a little bit flustered by how they played. They played so aggressive, so confident, and I will keep mentioning Christ's Glory because they play around that space. They showed a tremendous discipline, especially for a beginner player, and understand when they need to get back up. They understand when they need to play aggressive, understand when they have the space, understand when they don't have the space. They understand and can comprehend when the opposition makes a mistake. And that's tremendous discipline for a player at this level. And as a coach, that is lovely to see. I would love to have Christ Glory on a team of mine.
Yeah, I certainly don't disagree. I think that Pharah a very strong pick. I wonder how it would have looked if we had moved into command center or control center as that a much more enclosed map, but irrelevant when you just consider Christ Glory. It completely negated even the option for it. Not alone, not single-handedly, sure, but certainly doing quite a bit of their own lifting. We saw the cards at the end. I think they had a third of the total damage done for their team, so certainly looking pretty strong in lobby.
Yeah, and Compass Gold, their hit scans, they have to do better. You're running a double hit scan composition. You have to be able to take down that far. There isn't really an excuse apart from that fight where their tanks kind of backed off and nullified that space that they rolled again before. Apart from that, they have to do so much better. And again, there's another sort of thing right now. Sparx I want to point out is whoever's shot calling for them is an absolute genius. Yeah. Once they realized that double hit scan came out in Night Market, they shifted all of their resources onto their main tank, and Blizzard was able to start winning fights for them. So when they're able to make that adaptation, especially in the lower tiers, and make it so that they can win fights with different win conditions, that's really, really unique. And that's definitely something that Compass Gold is going to have to think about, especially as we head into our next map, which is Rialto.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It seems like the team cohesion between Ignited Sparx is amazing. I mean, even looking back at, I believe you called Queen Fluffy out for giving the Ash rotation call out to Christ Glory. That Ash could have done a whole lot of damage, or at least built up a whole lot of ult charge for Bob if they were allowed to remain in that backline. But just because of the awareness, because of the head-on pivot action coming in from Ignited Sparx, Compass Gold just looked a little bit neutered here. Now, you want to talk about how Compass Gold can look to mitigate this. We're going on to Rialto, so far is completely not out of the option yet. Do you think Compass Gold can do the tactic of just trying to rush in and win the ground fight and then take on the Pharah, or do you think they need to focus the Pharah first?
That's definitely a possibility, and probably the possibility that Compass Gold should consider going with, considering the hit scans didn't hit the Pharah last fight. So just give them more time to do that, especially if you can control the ground fight and make the Pharah uncomfortable. That's kind of what you want to do. Make the Pharah make decisions, although with the way Christ Glory was making decisions, that might not make a difference. And I feel like if Compass Gold can't come up with a solution fast, they're in big, big trouble.
Yeah, and I am just getting word now. Ignited Sparx going to be opting on to the defense here, so they might be looking to kind of plant their flag early on. Not necessarily the most uncommon preference we've seen these teams have here, Ocean.
Yeah, as we saw in our last series earlier today, Sakura also preferred to defend first, and actually, if I recall, last week Ignited Sparx also remained defending first the entire series. It just seems to be a preference of these teams who are able to stay in control, play the more stable compositions, and have a better understanding and discipline in-game and of the game. It's so important that they are able to play with what they're comfortable with. As we saw in the last series, if a team which is stable and consistent gets disrupted at all, that's where it seems to get a bit messy. If they're able to play with their preference of defending first and setting win conditions, that's a big help for them.
Yeah, I always like just assuming that it's because these teams are arrogant and want quick games. They're like, all right, we can stop them on first point, and then we can wrap this next attack up real quick. We can have it locked down, be done in 5 minutes. But in reality, I know there's quite a bit more strategy, a little bit more thought process involved than just that. However, as we do head into Rialto here, we are looking to the big, amazing surprise of Christ Glory once again playing Pharah.
Yeah, so what this is going to do is their composition, actually, I believe we saw them on Rialto last week, and Lazy Kitten their job is to drill the Widowmaker and take Nuclear out of the game, because if they take Nuclear out of the game, that means Christ Glory has so much more space to run. Just run around any way they like, as long as that Widowmaker is dead. So if Lazy Kitten eliminates Nuclear in that Widowmaker duel, it's going to be really, really difficult for the offense to get any sort of ground, because Christ Glory will hit those shots, especially if their tanks aren't moving fast enough. But they do have the Lucio to sort of path around the map as they like, and if they can get around the map and use some natural cover, and Nuclear is alive, then Christ Glory will lose a little bit of impact.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see which one of these Widows can really get that value first out. Nuclear taking a long time to set up their shots, but Christ Glory doing the oldest trick in the book, using the concussion blast to take down Nautic. That Pharah even getting value right out of the gate, setting up for an easy kill from Lazy Caden to come in on that Widowmaker. And now the tank's getting incredibly pressured. These DPS are absolutely smacking the side of Compass Gold.
Yeah, okay, so we saw that first fight. Nuclear was a bit slow to set up an angle on the Pharah. Christ Glory has 84% to their ultimate, was able to get a kill onto Nautic. Then Kaden wins the Widowmaker duel. Christ Glory has all that space yet again, and I mean, look at the results.
Yeah, it's certainly looking a little bit grim out of the gate for the side of Compass Gold, as once again we might be looking for those early picks coming out from this composition of the defense. Lady Caden finds it actually, Nautic getting taken down early on by that soldier. A big accretion to Undercover Steve, playing a little bit ahead of their team. Not sure if they were trying to set up a Boopa displacement or just maybe some bad positioning.
Yeah, one to keep a little bit of an eye on the two sides. Queen Fluffy and Blizzard on this defense, and how they pull this corner and try and control space, because that's what Pharah's good at. Pharah's not good at making space for her tanks and just diving in and being aggressive. Pharah's good at controlling space and controlling chill, and that's what their tanks are aiming to do as well.
We'll have to see if they can manage here. MI Blizzard going to be diving in deep, gets the nano, goes for the shatter, but Joshua actually getting the block up. Incredible, allowing MI Blizzard to get burned down. However, the trade does come through in even fashion. Ignited Spark now looking like they can finally bleed just a little bit here. Queen Fluffy trying to hold out on this Sigma, just let Reforces come back in. But it's not going to be long. Lazy Caden, however, does have enough time and space to get these shots in and land big like they need to. Going to actually be sending members off the cart from the attack, and because of that, Ignited Spark's able to easily reclaim.
Yeah, I don't like this Junkrat pick at all. Junkrat is really, really poor into both Pharah and Widowmaker, because Junkrat's mobility sends him up in the air. And I mean, Widowmaker's hit scan and is fantastic at picking off targets from the air. And Ashe in the Widowmaker is not a nice duel to take. So DPS composition really weak from the offense, and Lazy Caden showed up with that, especially when they got into that really open courtyard section.
Yeah, it looks like Mundangerous now putting a little bit of effort into focusing down Christ Glory, but not quite enough. Just enough to buy a few seconds, and that's not going to do it here. As we see these kills coming through, it's going to be a couple kills coming out from the attacking team, but it's a question of can they continue this momentum. Sigma and Ana both on point, and Lazy Caden still has not been dealt with. An absolute fiend on this Widow that you cannot sleep on. And really, how do you deal with this, Ocean?
I mean, you've got to take a duel with them, and that's what Nuclear is going to aim to do by switching over to the Widowmaker of their own. Take the Widowmaker duel. However, they were losing the Widowmaker duel prior, but it's a risk you've got to take. You at least got to put pressure on that Widowmaker or do something, because otherwise Lazy Caden's going to kill your entire team.
Yeah, and Nautic taking a very bold Junkrat tire right up into the face of MI Blizzard. And with this, the Coalescence coming out, Canna Media trying to just burn their way ahead. They're going to be buying a bit of space with that, and now we see Ignited Sparks kind of on the back foot here. Mundangerous going to be chasing down Lazy Caden, really taking that pressure up into that Widowmaker, and because of that, they're going to get first points.
I feel like they got a bit excited. They took the fight a bit quickly there, and they never really used any of their ultimates to engage. They had so many ultimates online, and they just never used them, the defense. However, the offense and the side of Compass make sure that they realize that they aren't using any of their wing conditions. We'll use ours, we'll go ahead, we'll get the Riptire kill, and we will take point A.
Yeah, and Christ Glory setting up from behind the team, looking to perhaps set up a Rocket Barrage, takes down the Junkrat, might not even need it. However, Mundangerous certainly doing their part to equalize as well. Undercover Steve riding up on this Pharah. Christ Glory has to evacuate. And in the meantime, these tanks trying to just take a little bit of a head on collision, and it's gonna be going in favor of Ignited Sparks. But a long shot coming in from Nuclear pulls down Christ Glory. This is a potential opening here, knowing that that Pharah is not going to be in the sky. However, they will if the Mercy Res goes through, which it does. No shield for MI Blizzard puts them in a dangerous position. They can't shield against Nuclear shots. Christ Glory already going to be paying the price for that. and it's costing them. It's costing them a lot of time and abilities, but Compass Gold able to find it. Nuclear now taking a back route, trying to find those headshots or at least the meaty body shots that they can. But in the end, it's just going to be Compass Gold moving this card forward.
Yeah, as soon as Nuclear is able to get away from the Widowmaker duel with Lazy Kid, that's when they're able to go and take the duel with Christ Glory, and that's where they're getting the kills, and that's where they're finding some leeway and some fun in this matchup. They're bringing themselves back in, but now Kaden gets Nuclear, and Christ Glory will have that space all over again.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough when you lose that Widow and that Reinhardt now. Nobody to hold that front line moving forward. And Blizzard can just earth shatter. But Christ Glory perhaps going for a little bit of an optimistic rocket barrage there. Does get taken down at the cost of a Diva mech. Lazy Caden there quick to clean up the baby Diva form. The tire trying to come out, the rip tire from Nautic. See if it can find anything. It finds a double, so that might exactly be the shot in the arm that Compass Gold needs here. If they can continue this pressure up, they need to keep disallowing these spawns to come in. They need to make space where they can. And now the nano boost coming on to Jedwards, that is going to be crucial. Even though the headshot comes in, eliminates both of the supports, that nano boost rather, enough to deter the rest of this attacking team.
Yeah, they use their defenders and ultimate advantage perfectly. They get the nano boost on the Blizzard. Blizzard takes the full advantage. Blizzard trying to escape here, will do so, and a staggered and stagnated fight for the offense means a couple of picks and a little bit of time off the clock, which will surely benefit the defense and Ignited Sparx.
No one can hide from
It will, as we hear Lazy Caden having those info sites up and online, going to be able to really call out the positioning and movements of Compass Gold. If nothing else, it buys a little bit of time that Compass Gold have to just wait out that info site, and burning time off the clock's not exactly what you want to have happen here. However, it looks like now Nuclear trying to perhaps get some early picks, taking a rather wide angle. Going to be posting up now on this bridge. It's going to be Nuclear versus Lazy Caden. Neither one really able to find too much. The Earth Shatter goes out from Joshua. They do find it. Nuclear has some of those clear sightlines, cutting the pie as it goes one by one until eventually those DPS and tank lines are dead. And with that, now it's just the back out from the side of Ignited. But the High Noon coming out does find one Nautic getting traded out here for their work on the Jedwards. And it's looking so good for Compass Gold. They just need to keep up this momentum motion.
They're able to use the info site to gain information of what spawn door they want to come out of. And that's going to let them get a couple of shots on the loose, so they're not going to hit them. But it's the information that is vital.
Yeah, it certainly is. The anti-nade onto Joshua, also a vital play. As we can see, that tank being put under so much pressure, going to actually force out the sound barrier from undercover Steve. MI Blizzard gets the nano boost to help realign the defense's tank line. In fact, takes down Joshua for it, and Nautic needs to come up big with this tire. Will one kill just be enough off the back end? Nuclear getting very forward into this fight, really trying to play in the fray with their team. Not sure if that's going to be enough to put that pressure down, but we will see. Overtime is burning. The offense needs to get these kills a little bit faster. That Lucio, Rinnipu gets killed mid-sound barrier. That's going to be crucial in eliminating the stall from this push. Compass Gold may have just plugged their ticket here. Queen Fluffy gets killed as they drop the grab. Nothing to contest, and with that, they're going to manage all 3 points. Compass Gold.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what happened to Ignited Sparx, to be honest. They were looking so clean. And once they lost that last fight on the first point, they kind of just got snowballed. The momentum never really died for Compass Gold. There was that one fight that was a little bit stagnated and they lost that. But other than that, Compass snowballing for the other points after Ignited Sparx made that mistake on first point. So maybe that mistake is affecting them in the mental mind game of this matchup. But now, they have a break between rounds. They have a chance to reset. All 3 points is a solid statement from Compass Gold. But can Ignited Sparx improve upon that statement? Maybe a couple of extra words in the essay.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be, you know, I don't need to say like an incredibly better time bank, but you're gonna have to have at least a few more pushes to be comfortable if you're on the side of Ignited. You want to have that buffer zone, because if this does go 3 points apiece, we're gonna have an overtime push. It's gonna have maybe a minute on the side of Compass Gold, and then whatever time's left for Ignited. So really, you're not feeling comfortable if you're either team, especially if both these points get finished.
Yeah, I feel like if they do capture all 3 points, the benefits will go to Ignited Sparks because they look really, really comfortable on point A and definitely look like they could get a full hold here. So if they get all 3 points, they're definitely in the driving seat, but they have to get all 3 points first, and that is not an easy task.
We will see if they can maintain that. Lazy Cage just being that threat on the Widow, doesn't even have to fire a shot, really make the opposing team wary. Ignited Spark, or excuse me, Christ Glory, however, going to be a little bit more consistent with that damage, throwing it down. But right now, it looks like it's really the tanks that are doing a lot of the space purchasing for Ignited Sparks. It's what you need out of your tanks, but you need them to occasionally just get kills every once in a while, and MI Blizzard definitely not going to be disappointing in this aspect. This Reinhardt is getting so aggressive, pushing through that first point, almost like nothing is going to be able to stop them. They're getting incredibly up in the face of Compass Gold. In fact, we're going to see which one is going to be able to come out positive. Another Earth Shatter straight into the shield of Joshua, but it doesn't matter. The point gets captured. Compass Gold has conceded that first point.
Ignited Sparks make a different adaptation yet again. They go back to this adaptation that they played on Night Market late in that point. They are going to this adaptation where Blizzard is now their win condition. All resources are getting put into Blizzard, and they also have the extra defensive utility of the Sigma. So they're just pushing into this Ryan Diva, pushing onto these supports, and there's some loose ends in that Compass team, and they're getting a little bit destabilized when they're not seeing what they expect. They expected to see Christ Glory and Lazy Caden be aggressive with Bangles, and they would just take them out. But expectations sometimes aren't reality.
Yeah, it's just like the expectation that Christ Glory may have gotten a few more kills off the back end of that Rocket Barrage, in fact, did not. And now Nautic having to do a very dangerous dance with this Widow. Lazy Caden getting chased down by the Diva, though. Forced out, does get a bit of healing from that Mercy, however. It does mean that Ignited Spark have to back up just a bit, regroup themselves, so these respawns can come in from the side of Compass Gold, but it's just going to be Joshua. He's not going to be able to do enough. Going to have to take the back out. And Christ Glory once again getting super aggressive.
Yeah, Joshua might get staggered here, and that would definitely give some snowball potential to the offense. Look at this time, like 5 minutes and 42 seconds after point B has been captured. They did not like the 3-point capture from Compass, and they're coming with vengeance.
Yeah, certainly Nautic going to be taking a bullet to the heart, dropping down early into this fight. Going to be out that McCree. Might be the game changer, but that gives Nautic the opportunity to go into the Junkrat and really lean into perhaps some of these rip tires or the massive damage. The sound barrier coming out from undercover. Steve goes hand in hand with Joshua's Earth Shatter, and with that, the Diva Bomb sets up for a nice kill off the back end. It looks like the defense has finally stabilized. But nope, really cold Christ Glory as they continue to get kills.
Just real quick, look at the ultimate charges. I'm drawing the viewers' attention to this. Look at the ultimate charges for Compass Gold in the defense. Nothing. Nothing even remotely close online. Everything is below 20% ult. Now look at the other side. They can use Infrasight for a little bit of information, and then they've got Gravitic Flux, Barrage, and Valkyrie to invest in this fight.
Yeah, you certainly don't expect that they'll have to use all of them, but they certainly might if they think they can get a time bank advantage. And Mundangerous, I don't like that. They dove up to chase the Pharah, but the Pharah was just out of reach, so the Diva drops right into the middle of the team, gets gobbled up, and with this now, it looks like Rennie Crew going to be using the Valkyrie to try to give that damage increase to everybody. Joshua caught out by themselves. By that Gravitic Flux has to be the last stand for their team. Does have to Lucio to try to give them a little bit of help, and maybe the reinforcements can come in here for the defense, but the question is, will it be enough? A few kills already going in favor, especially with Jedward's dropping. That's a lot of sustain gone. That Widow getting forced up by that Doomfist. And Lazy Caden walks away with her life just barely before Mundangerous puts a shot into their forehead. It was a scrappy fight, but the defense from Compass Gold has managed to stabilize for just a moment, Ocean.
Yeah, and that fight is so critical because what it allows for the defense is they have a chance to stabilize. The ultimate advantage for the offense is gone, and it's now switched over to the defense. They have both of their support ultimates, their Riptire and Self-Destruct online. They now have the ultimate advantage. They are now in the driving seat, and they can at least whittle down this time bank by a lot. They have weathered the storm, but can they, well, walk out of the tornado?
Yeah, this goes hand in hand with kind of what we were saying at the beginning of the map. You know, if you're on the side of Ignited, you're going to want that time bank as high as possible. But if you're on the Compass Gold end of the spectrum, then you definitely want to get that as equalized as possible. You can't get a better time than you cannot get a better time with 0 seconds left on the clock. So I think that the time burn absolutely going to be essential here from Compass Gold.
Yeah, it looks like that pause is just a quick one.
Mhm.
And the offense are gonna need that Earth Shatter to be big, because not only will that foresight support ultimates, which are the critical ones online for said defense, but it will also maybe put Compass a little bit back on the back foot.
We will see as now once again the Pharah coming in heavy for the attackers. Ignited Spark finding those pings in Christ Glory, who now flies overhead and deals even more damage, burns down that Moira in Coalescence. The Rocket Barrage coming out. Don't know if the D.Va will get Christ Glory. Does not manage it. Undercover Steed has to use that sound barrier just for themselves. All the ultimates at last minute trying to come out for the defense. Nautic's tire gets taken down, and this is just the death knell for the side of Compass Gold. They are at best going to be able to spawn here. They have the D.Va coming out and on the line. Nautic as well going to be jumping in on the Junkrat, but that's going to be about it. Lucio not quite able to touch, and with that 3 minutes 43 on the clock for Ignited.
See, Christ Glory kind of just reminds me of the Stormbreaker MP, because when there's an ultimate for the opposition online, it just destroys that target. Make sure they can't play the game. Kind of just hacks them, except instead of hacking them and using a Stormbreaker ability, they just eliminate them from play completely. The Junkrat and Undercover Steve on the Lucio, both gone immediately from the fight, and those were the two that had the critical ultimates online for the defense. So not only were they an ultimate down, but they were a player down as well. Christ Glory comes up clutch yet again.
So this is a question I want to ask you. Do you think that the ult tracking is just that good from the side of Ignited, or do you think that maybe there's a little bit of show in Compass Gold where the Lucio's getting a little bit bold, or the Junkrat's kind of leaving himself exposed because they have those game-changing ults?
I actually do think it's Ignited Sparks that just have the better shot calling and the better, awareness of what win conditions the opposing team have. I really do think that they're just good at that. And the reason I believe that is because of Queen Fluffy's scouting on map 1. This just seems to be a trend for them, that they are just good at scouting out the opposition and coming in with a solid fight plan.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I can't argue it either way. We're seeing the results of that labor come through for Ignited. They certainly have quite a bit of time bank here. The question is, how far will Compass Gold get it as this fight goes underway? This high damage DPS comp just comes in heavy every time. Christ Glory burning down that Hanzo, able to get that follow-up with Lazy Caden. And then Christ Glory just stays in the air. Mundangerous, not able to get up into the face of that Pharah. And really, they're just leaving the D.Va to deal with it. Christ Glory is going to be able to reign supreme. Those rockets come in heavy. And with that, it's a quick defense hold for this first push.
Again, Christ Glory's discipline that fight was tremendous. They were able to stay really high in the air, which meant that the D.Va boosters was not enough to even get close to the Pharah. It also means that they're staying away from the McCree, which means the damage drop off on McCree's weapon, the Peacekeeper, means that it's really difficult to take out that Pharah, especially with that Mercy Pocket. And Christ Glory, he's close to that barrage again.
Yeah, he's gonna be ready to drop it right onto the heads of Compass Squad. Although the kinetic grasp there from Mundangerous eats a lot of it. Christ Glory quick to rotate and focus on that Reinhardt instead. With the cleanup coming through now, it's just not looking great for this attacking team. They don't get a whole lot of progress.
Oh, very weak offense from Compass Gold there. You expect them to have some sort of plan for this far already. Realistically, they have nothing. They have nothing. Their hit scans are inconsistently shooting at the Pharah. They had that one moment on their offense when they were able to kill Christ Glory a couple of times because Nuclear had a little bit of an open sightline because Lazy Kitten was unable to take the Widowmaker duel at said time because they were able to get a late stagger on him in that fight. But other than that, really disappointing. Just they're unable to deal with one or two threats from this side, and it's the same threats each time. It's Lazy Kitten on the Widowmaker, Christ Glory on the Pharah, and just running into a brick wall, it seems, from Compass Gold. They have to do something. They have to do something fast. Otherwise, it's going to be an embarrassing finals.
Yeah, although I definitely have to give more of the credit than the detriment to
Yeah, 100%.
Ignited versus Compass, because this is the beginner bracket. I'm not trying to be elitist here, but these players will not have the best mechanical aim. Christ Glory leans right into that. You got to manipulate what weaknesses your opponent might have, and at this rank, you know what that's going to be. You know that, hey, maybe their team coordination's good, but they just can't land shots or abilities, and that's crucial when you're playing against or into a Pharah.
Yeah, and Chi-Score's discipline has been tremendous. They know when they have the space, they know when they can play aggressive, and that is extremely rare in a low SR player, and they've been absolutely excellent stuff.
They have, and now it's looking like a desperation composition coming out from Compass Gold to bring out the Bastion, who does take down Lazy Caden, but it's an eggs in a basket type situation. You break one, you're probably going to break them all. And now Compass Gold needs to try to maintain this composition for about 3 minutes from now, and once the initial surprise is gone, Ignited might not fall for it again.
Look at the ultimate charge, Christ Glory, Barrage almost ready.
Yeah, Nautic gets taken down early, Christ focusing them down. Nobody's even really there to contest cart. Ignited takes it so quickly. That Bastion just a little too stationary.
Yeah, they just kind of walk off the point and let them have it. What? Bit of an anticlimactic end to also play the game going to Christ Glory, as we suspected. But what a performance from this Ignited Sparx team. This is the finals of the beginners here, and they're just kind of rocked up. They want to get it done as it's basically a speed run for them. It's just a challenge of how fast can we roll over Compass Gold by the looks of things. And they're playing their win conditions flawlessly, they're identifying their win conditions flawlessly, and they're also identifying Compass Gold's win conditions and shutting them down, which is incredibly rare for a team who, again, is in the beginner tier, but has this tremendous understanding of the game. And it's great to see. I'm really enjoying bringing you their story.
Yeah, I certainly have to agree. I want to kind of pivot here, Ocean, because I don't want us to sound like a broken record. Compass Gold, do you think that Mundangerous is doing enough on the Diva, or do you think they need to improve as a player or have more team backing them?
That's a really, really good question. I just feel like instead of trying to kill the Pharah, they should be trying to nullify the Pharah. I feel like they just don't understand what they're doing wrong or how to do what that Diva should accomplish. It's a difficult thing to talk about because he's been asked to deal with the Pharah as that Diva role. And he's going for the kill, trying to push Pharah away, and it's not doing anything. So maybe sticking closer to the team and just nullifying the damage from that Pharah might be the way to go. Or even just sticking a Matrix over the hit scans to give them a little bit more breathing room against that Pharah is maybe the better way to play that hero. I just think the understanding of the hero isn't there. I don't think it's really Mundangerous needing to improve. I just think it's the understanding of the game.
Certainly makes a little bit of sense. We might see a little bit of a change up, maybe a shy away from that Diva, at least on the first point, as I do believe we're going to be heading into Hollywood coming up here. And that means that maybe Compass Gold can rely on a little bit of Ash work moving into that Ignited Sparx teams. I don't know if Christ Glory is going to continue to lead on this Pharah, but I certainly wouldn't blame them if they did.
I mean, the skybox is actually quite low on this map, so the Pharah is a little less room to work with. And Compass Gold, when they're defending in particular, will have that high ground. They'll have access to that high ground immediately, so they'll be able to pressure that Pharah against that low skybox, and that might help them out. So I do like this map pick, but Ignited Sparx picking their trusty old defense tool first.
Yeah, it's going to be Compass Gold on that attack. However, we're going to have to give you guys a quick little break before we go into Hollywood. So grab your popcorn, grab your drinks. We will be right back. Can Ignited Sparx make it a clean 3-0? Join us later to find out.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. I hope you got your popcorn, your sody pops as it goes. We are currently at the apex of our grand finals here in the beginners bracket between Ignited and Compass Gold. Ignited standing 2 points up over Compass Gold. They are currently looking to be sealing this up rather quickly here, off no short end to Christ Glory and their far up play. For your casting entertainment, once again, Sir Waltham and Ocean. Ocean, why don't you give us a quick recap?
Christ Glory kills things. Like, seriously. There's my recap. Christ Glory has been tremendous on this far. Showed great discipline. And another thing, as I mentioned over and over again, Ignited Sparx, they have looked fantastic with their shot calling, their fight planning, and their realization of the enemy's win conditions. That's what they've been good at, and that's what they're going to continue to look to do in the last map. Well, in their case, hopefully the last map, but hopefully, as you say, we do reach an apex, which is entering a corner, or at the entrance of a corner. So that is what they will be wishing for on the sign of the Compass Gold Garage, as they will want to improve and turn the series around.
Now, the comp coming out of Compass Gold, very interesting. Nuclear hopping on to that Bastion. Not sure what the plan is here. Might just be looking to open up some sight lines, but we saw the Bastion didn't quite work for them on Rialto. And right now, Bastion gonna get slept out early, and to no great surprise, gonna be taken down in quick order. And with this, it's looking like the defense not even really phased. They take a few licks, but able to get their men back, which cannot be said for Compass Gold, as that Mercy takes a quick cap to the head and they wrap up their defense.
That just made no sense. It kind of felt like they were trying to go with like a triple DPS vibe to it, where you just play crazy chaotic and you split the resources of everyone, but with the Bastion comp, it doesn't really make sense. But oh, poor play from the offense at Compass Gold. A minute off their time bank with no real avail and nothing out of it.
Yeah, and Joshua trying to come in early caused some disruption, and to their credit, it does kind of distract the Farah, allows her to get taken down by Nuclear, and for no worse wear that Rez does have to come out early from the Mercy. And now the Genji and Wrecking Ball trying to cause a bit more havoc, really being those divey characters that they are so potent on. Nuclear now starting to sharpen up against Christ Glory, really getting that kill. Renipoo likely to not have that resurrect online for another few seconds. And with this now, the offense looking pretty good. They're going to take a few moments to recollect while they have man advantage. Joshua on this Wrecking Ball continues to be that distraction, but they're not getting a whole lot done, and no shield means that those Earth Shatters come in for free. MI Blizzard gets it, hits 4, and with that, the cleanup's quick for the defense.
Yeah, we're saying it's just crazy chaotic comp for the offense, and they're not really doing much. I mean, they managed to get Nuclear on the high ground and get a couple of kills, and they've managed to cause the defense to make a couple of mistakes, but they haven't really shown any intent at capturing this point, or any intent at making this series theirs. It's just super old. I mean, they forced MI Blizzard to play a little bit less aggressive in the first fight just because of the crazy chaoticness, and they also forced Christ Glory out of position and made their discipline a little bit less apparent in this map. But other than that, they've done nothing to even show that they want to win this series, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, so far the only win condition going to be coming in on the Genji Blade. Takes down Jedward early on, but gets locked down by that Sigma Gravitic Flux, brought down by Queen Fluffy and Gravity itself. However, Christ Glory gets taken down. They just have to be careful that Renipoo does not get the res up and online. And Nuclear going to be able to get brought back up instead. With this now, numbers advantage for Compass Gold, trying their best to clear off the point. A few members left, but it looks like they'll be able to manage.
Yeah, but Kitten has the high ground. Oh, never mind. Nuclear wins the Astral. The fight seems to be one for the offense. They get that Nano Blade online, and as soon as I was dissing them wanting to win this series, they come back here with the Nano Blade and take the fight.
Yeah, and Bob going to be going out right in front of the doors of that cafe. However, blocked mostly by MI Blizzard. MI Blizzard getting focused down so dangerously low. The coach gun saving Nuclear's life for a brief moment. And a large recontest coming in from Ignited. But can they make it happen? It certainly does not seem so. Christ Glory going to be taking down one, but not long for this world. And with that now, for realsies, they're going to get the first cap.
Yeah, they do get a lot of time off the bank with that stall, and they do force Nuclear to use the bomb, and they don't really give too much overcharge, so not bad. from this side of Ignited Sparks, but just feels like on point A, when it gets to the last fight territory, they just kind of bottle it a little bit. They kind of see victory immediately and just lose track, lose focus. And that might be something to look out for. If they do start to lose momentum in the series, will they lose focus and lose their sight on victory a little bit too much and then lose the series? We'll have to find out.
We certainly will. Crest Glory now going to be making the switch onto Reaper. The Earth Shatter comes out. Reaper able to throw that damage in. MI Blizzard not to be outdone. Charges, swings for the fences, and with that, another quick defense.
Yeah, MI Blizzard, another quick shatter. Kind of wants to throw in their pit in the ring for MVP, and I mean, they're certainly doing so. I think that's 7 Earth Shatter kills already here on Hollywood. 1 minute 50 left on the clock. Isn't enough time really. Just going with one fight. They're going to have to set up for a little bit. They have time to set up. And they're going to have to set up for 2 fights where they have enough ultimates across both fights to make sure that they can win and take 1-2. But it's going to be a really difficult task.
We'll have to see if they can manage it. The grab Flux comes in, only lands onto the Hog, who has that breather to reduce a lot of damage. The anti-name going to be going on to MI Blizzard, gets focused out, not closing the gap with it. The Reinhardt now getting taken down, and suddenly a lot of space here for the offensive team. That wrecking ball from Joshua finally starting to do some distracting, but Lazy Katie takes advantage of the distractions of their own, and with this throws those bullets into the skulls of the opposing team. And with this, Ignited Spark has managed to clutch out another defense.
Yeah, Christ Glory. With an Animus able to get a lot of kills. Kind of perfect fight execution from the defense yet again. Ignited Sparks showing off their prowess when it comes to fight planning. And then Anubis onto the Reaper. Not only gets the kills in the fight win, but also builds up the death walker for the next one.
Yeah, and Lazy Caden gonna actually be getting Joshua down with that dynamite early on. The Genji Blade comes out. It looks like Nautica was committed to that maneuver, but Canna Media not able to give them that nano boost that they needed, and because of that, Nautica gonna be dropping. Numbers looking so light for the offense on Compass Gold right now. It's not really looking like this is gonna favor out for them. Lazy Caden getting chased by Joshua, who we're stuck in like this weird back territory that I don't really agree with, but it looks like it's going to have done enough work for now Compass Gold to really start getting some movement going.
So Compass Gold, they managed to win that fight. However, they have to set up to where they can get the entirety of point B here. And actually, these late stagger kills might get them that. However, if another fight happens, Bob, Gravitic Flux, and Valkyrie will be online at a point. They also have the Earth Shatter, and there's only an Anubis online for the offense. However, if they could get this point B, they're still in this fight to win it.
Yeah, they certainly are, although it does kind of put them under a lot of stress when it comes to that third point. You got to expect that that third point is going to be very hard to capture at this rate without going into overtime. You pretty much have to win all fights flawlessly, as little contest time as possible, which is a very tall order, but you'd rather get it than not in either direction. But as we now see, the pauses are about to go underway, and the cart continues to move for the offending.
Yeah, for Ignited Sparks, you have to hope they can get this fight in. It looks like they might be able to. Blizzard looks to come back with intent. However, if they can stop them from testing this point, there's a big, big chance for Compass Gold to win this.
Yeah, Blizzard goes in with the Earth Shatter and actually gets taken down during and not able to close that distance. But Bob here doing an incredible amount of work, really applying that pressure and the contest on the cart. Nobody able to deal with it from Compass Gold, and because of that, they're going to stop just short of that second point.
Bob most certainly did something.
Yes.
And Bob could have done a thing that literally just might have won them this championship. Bob comes in, gets 2 critical kills onto Compass Gold. Queen Fluffy cleans up the rest. And the win condition is set. The bar is set. And Ignited Sparks could take a series right here, right now.
Yeah, this is it for them. They just need to make it to basically that second point, and they have this locked down. Ignited Squad definitely going to be pretty hungry for this, and I think they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable about it. Christ Glory on the Reaper didn't even look like it was that far out of their hero pool range, so I think that there's a lot of options there for this team that's now going to be on the attack.
I'm looking at their attack, and I like this. They switched over Lazy Kitten. Okay, they're not actually switching Lazy Kitten over to the far. So what they're going to do with this sort of Zarya Bull composition. It's probably going to work very similar to the Zarya Winston composition, where you're just going to try and express as much chaos as possible. And all of that chaos comes space, and off that space comes, well, kills for your DPS. Because your DPS has that space, you're able to use that to their advantage, and you're going to get as much damage as possible, and, well, that, again, results in kills. So, they're going to play hella aggressive with this Zarya Bull composition, and enable Kaden and Christ going to have as much space. Oh, never mind, they're just completely bad, and they're not running what they're running all series.
Yeah, it's the classic caster debate. We got fooled a little bit there, but running out, it looks like Christ Glory going to be leaning on that Pharah once again. Lazy kicking on this Doom for perhaps to get a little bit more chaos, but Rinnipu taken down early by Nuclear suddenly changes the dynamic here for Christ Glory. They have to play a little bit more comfortably, perhaps a little bit more within the line of sight of Jetworth. And Nuclear taking down Christ Glory as soon as they get up into that air. Rinnipu comes out of spawn, but now Christ isn't with the team. It's looking a little bit discombobulated for Ignited right now.
Yeah, Ignited are just going to have to look for a different identity, a different leeway into this point. And Nuclear holding that high ground well and using the Discord Ultra's advantage to win those DPS shots.
Yeah, absolutely crucial there, but Christ Glory making sure that the DPS not going to be as relevant as Undercover Steve gets burned down by those rockets. No Zenyatta in this fight means a little less healing, but a lot less damage output for this defending team. And with that, the Immortality Field goes down. Not much, but threads to keep the side of Compass Gold up and online. And with that, the point looks like it's going to fall.
So we see a sort of an example of a split push, and what split pushing especially does your offense, especially when it's sort of like a crossfire. You've got Kaden on the left, kind of hiding behind, posing a threat in the Doomfist. You've got Christ Glory in front of you. What do you deal with first? You have to split your resources correctly and need to do it at the right time as well. And it just seems that Compass just don't have the decision making to do that in order to take full advantage of 2.9.
Certainly not yet, but they are going to be leaning on Nuclear's Sombra to perhaps get a crucial hack, disable whatever they can, really mitigate that flying capability from Pharah. But Christ Glory is just going to be taken to the ground game until the hack wears off. And with this fight is just cart progress conceded over to the attacking team of Ignited. Spark, Lazy Caden still continuing to push that advantage, as are both the DPS now. Lazy Caden does take a hack, but there's nobody there to follow up and really punish them for that. And this has just been pretty much free progress for Ignited.
This is terrible. It's terrible, terrible times for Compass Gold. They only have the amplification matrix online. With the momentum that Ignited's going at, it's going to be really, really difficult. Unless they can get some crucial hacks and maybe an EMP, it's going to be so hard for them to even get a foothold in this map.
Certainly doesn't look that way, as Lazy Caden goes in for the Meteor Strike, gets hacked right out of it, but just cleans up Nuclear with some standard abilities here. And the defense trying to hold on to Cart, but it's just a Lucio and a Reinhardt getting bullied around. And Zarya, incredibly high charge as well as hit with the Nano. Gonna be looking to get some more damage and clean this up as quickly as possible. And nobody camped the body of Lazy Caden. Lazy Caden back in on Doomfist. It looked like they'd even caught off guard by their own res here. Dangerous. Last attempt on the ball. The lockdown with the grab just to ensure that everybody stays the same. Undercover Steve not able to get that sound barrier off. And with that, this point goes over to Ignited Sparx, and they're going to be taking this series in the most clean 3-0.
Yeah, that's probably the fastest finals we're going to see. Ignited Sparx dominating this series. They knew what their win conditions were after they identified them, and they put their win conditions to use. They came in here with business, and they take the series 3-0.
Yeah, and not to be unsold, Christ Glory going to be getting this play of the match here moving forward. And overall, a little bit of a clinic coming in from Ignited. I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't see Compass Gold perform to the level I really wanted them to. I think there were times where we saw them kind of peak out, like they just chanced upon the right combination of characters or strategies, but they didn't know how to execute them just properly. And I think that's really kind of where we saw Ignited outshine them.
Yeah, it just seems that United had better understanding of what their win conditions were, understanding of how their compositions play. And we saw that in our last series as well in the intermediate division, that if you have a better understanding of your composition and a better understanding of the drills you're taking, you have a really good chance of winning. And Ignited Sparx showed that again here in our match now, but now we have our decision to make. And shall we both give an MVP each?
We can. I'll just go ahead and say that obviously I think Christ Glory definitely deserves to be recognized as an incredibly valuable player for Ignited.
Okay, so you're gonna go for Christ Glory. I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna go. Oh, did I go for Blizzard because Blizzard also showed some great carry potential? Did I go for Kaden for realizing that they need to win those Widowmaker jewels? Or did I go for Fluffy for that incredible scout on Lijiang? I'm gonna go for Blizzard. I feel like Blizzard, when they have the resources, were just a better main tank in the lobby. So I'll go for Blizzard as my MVP.
All right, fantastic. Well, hopefully we will be looking to get them in here, have a few words with them, see what the MVP VIP mindset is like for Ignited Sparx here. But overall, Ocean, this was just an intense game to witness. Well, do you have any like highlights for us throughout this series?
I mean, immediately what comes to mind is that scout from Queen Fluffy on the Sigma, realizing that a flank was coming through from the Ash on Compass Gold, and Christ Glory was going over to the right hand side and isolating the Ash, taking that jewel. That was the turning point for me. This is when I knew that this series was going to be fast. Ignited Sparx were going to dominate. They just had the better understanding of the game, the better understanding of the jewels. They were able to scout and prepare a lot better, and that is where this series changed for me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree. There were so many rocket barrages and even headshots coming in from Lazy Caden on the opposing hit scan DPS that it's hard to put a cap on any one individual play. However, we are looking to get those players, that is Christ Glory and MI Blizzard, into chat so we can get a few questions with them. We're going to take a quick break while we get everything set up. So stick around, folks. We'll have our short exit interview here real quick. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our little exit interview here with the Sparx crew. We have Christ Glory. I've been saying MI Blizzard. Is it just Blizzard? Is that comfortable for you, my friend? All right.
Blizzard's fine.
Well, with that, we're here just to ask you a couple quick questions, real casual. I know you guys are coming off probably the high of winning these finals. So with that, we'll go ahead and start with Christ. Christ, we saw you playing a hell of a lot of Pharah out there today. Would you say that Pharah is one of your more preferred DPS, or is she something that you just slot into because it's so damn effective?
I would say that it's a preferred DPS, and it's just something we don't really want to switch off of because of how effective it was.
All right. Well, I certainly don't think the results allow me to argue with that. Now, Blizzard, I kind of want to ask you the same thing. From what I can recall, we saw mostly a lot of Rhine coming out. I don't expect you to say like, "Oh, Orisa's my favorite," but do you lean a little bit more towards that Rhine than those divier tanks?
Yeah, most definitely. Ryan's been always a strong suit for me when I started with Sparx. Winston and Diva haven't really been my main type. I'm getting there on Orisa, though.
As you would expect.
All right, so I'm gonna ask some more open-ended questions. I'm gonna ask you about your preparation for this match. You guys looked like you were a really stable unit as a team, and you understood the compositions you were playing. What did you do to prepare for this finals matchup?
Christ, you can take this one.
Yeah. So for this finals, we were honestly expecting it achieved. So kudos to Compass Gold for taking that one. But we were prepping more. I personally, I was prepping against the hit scan as Pharah. I know that people knew that we ran Pharah, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to dual hit scan and then still be effective on the ground. And we scrimmed a lot. Actually, this week was more of an off week. We just kind of took it easy, and then we scrimmed hard today, just kind of quick play and things like that, and just kind of prep that way. Do you have anything else to add to that, Blizz?
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. Very busy schedule is what I have to say. Yes, this week was definitely the off week for our team, and coming into playoffs, we were definitely on a downslope until today. But majority of the time, we were scrimming, botting, or playing games 6 out of 7 days a week. Our entire team was very dedicated to the team, and we climbed 200 as average SR during this tournament.
Right.
That's super awesome to hear. Super awesome to hear these teams, especially in the lower tiers, just have a good vibe with each other and, play to their heart's content. And that definitely showed on the stage today. And well, a bit of a question, a little bit of an evil question. Do you think anything from the opposition just gave you a huge advantage today?
Blizz, want to take that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not to be like rude or anything, but in the beginning matches during especially Lijiang and Rialto, Lucio was really just trying to distract our entire team, and that's how we felt like that we lost the entire defense of Rialto. Once we started just not having the Lucio as a problem and not just completely ignoring him and taking the 5v6, we started just clean sweeping. If their Lucio played maybe with a little more of their team and not in our backline, they could have done a little more better than they did.
Super huge. And a couple of extra questions in one. I'll ask Blizzard to answer a couple of the first ones, and then Christ, you can take over. But first question is, we saw some great fight planning from you guys. Is there anyone on your team you want to credit for that? Maybe a coach or organizational aspect?
Definitely. Our coaches were amazing. Samter and Art. They are amazing coaches, and they've been helping us through the season. Art's been mainly our macro coach, who's been doing all our comps and all of our positioning, while Sam's been more of the technical side with the heroes and what is good for one hero and what's bad for another. So I think a combination of those two coaches really helped in us being able to quickly come up with a plan on the fly and be able to push away the competition.
That's super awesome. And Christ, final question for you. You've been probably the highlight DPS in this beginner tier. So I want to actually ask, you and sort of the rest of your team, what's your plans for improving as a team in the future? Because I want to see more of that Christ Glory Fire.
Yeah, I'm actually, unfortunately, I guess retiring after this. I'm more going to be taking a coaching role and going to school. So full time, and so I'm not going to be in any more competitions or anything like that. I know that the most of Sparx is breaking up and doing different things, but we're definitely looking for more players. Um, so yeah, if anybody wants to have a spot or have a shot at making on the new Sparx, just let us know at Ignited.
All right, it was super awesome to hear from you guys, and I mean, you put on such a great show all season for us, and especially tonight in the finals. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Now, as we look ahead, gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys coming in here to answer a few questions for us. Give us one last hurrah to celebrate your victory. So, for your patience with us, I'll let you guys give one quick shout out a piece to whoever you want. If you want, we can start with Blizzard.
Well, I'd like to shout out the entire team of Sparx, the Ignited esports organization that houses these teams. We have two other teams in the rookie division that placed ninth and I think it was fifth.
Fifth, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd like to shout out them. I'd like to shout out our coaches and all the community that supported us through this tournament.
Fantastic.
I have to agree with that. I also have to say Blizz has done a great job as a shot caller just to keep us in line and make sure we're on the same page as well.
Great. Well, once again, thank you guys so much for coming in here, getting a little bit of an interview going with us. We greatly appreciate it. However, Ocean, now it is our time to just about sign off. So for your casting entertainment, I have been Sir Waltham, joined by Ocean. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to Get Good, our grand finals here. Congratulations once again to Ignited for winning that series in a clean 3-0. We hope to see you guys around next season. Until then, take care and stay safe, everybody.